Hello, hello, hello. Hooligan Soccer Podcast, Champions League Game Week 7 special with the Qooligan, as always, and myself, Gary Stryker. Qooligan, good morning on this MLK Inauguration Day, Monday, Polar Vortex, all of this stuff going on. And then, of course, there's a little thing called the Champions League picking back up again. How the hell are you?
Polar vortex for some. Just in a dry spell up here in California. Obviously some terrible things happening down in LA, but we're avoiding it for now. And yeah, it's it's a weird time, Gary, but the good news is that we have Champions League to distract us.
Yes, we do indeed. Yeah, the opium for the masses is coming back, isn't it? So it's
and it's mainlining right into the vein.
It is. So I think Game Week 6 was it was about a month ago. So we've gone a whole month without any Champions League football, and I think we both have had to recalibrate ourselves with the league, the rules in the new format, the fixtures, and what's going on. So just sort of high level, let's just sort of recapture the new format, which it seems we're both big fans of. I know there was a lot of skepticism at the beginning.
Tons of skepticism. I mean, it was like a skepticapalooza in my mind. But I have been converted, Gary. Mm-hmm. I have been converted into this new format, and I do believe now whether or not it's just because it's brand new. Am I being blinded by the new glow? Maybe. Or maybe it's just because the teams that we actually have produced such incredible drama. But I do think that the format tweak has been successful, and has yielded some exciting competition, some unusual twists and turns. So yeah, two big thumbs up on this guy.
Well done. Alex Seferin, right, the UEFA president. He's really nailed it. And I think I remember you wrote an article just before, and I think you made your point in, I think it was your last Champions League roundup about a month ago, and you said at this point in the old format we would have lost interest because you would have known who's
it had been done. It had been a done deal
in the old group stage where they play 3 games each. They play 3 games. They 3 games home and away, so 6 games in total. All you'd need is 7 points to qualify, and you're done. Right? There would be maybe some group of death, and it would be pretty dull and pretty boring. But this, I'm not only is it putting up a lot of twists, and also it's interesting to see some of the bigger teams are not just running away with it as comfortably, but also as well, we were looking forward to next week, right? Game week 8, which is the final round. And instead of doing the games across a Tuesday and a Wednesday and some staggered time zones, they're hitting the all button all at once, everything everywhere all at once.
It's a classic tournament strategy where your final games are all played at the same time to prevent any semblance of match fixing. Wow, can't even. It's Monday. Hold on. Coffee break. That's the stuff. There we go. No more word stumbling here.
Just the gist.
But no, to essentially reduce any risk of people, of impropriety. There's the word I'm looking for.
That's it. There's no irregularities that are there. So just to sort of recap with the new format. So what UEFA have done across all 3 European competitions, but we're just going to focus on the Champions League for now, is you've got 36 teams in one Super League. They play 8 games. They play one team, and then they'll sort of be in a pod as well. So there's no home and away fixtures in the league games. And then essentially what happens is the top 8 automatically qualify to the knockout phase. Then you have position 9 to 24 go into a home and away playoff to then get into the round of 16. So of that 16, you get another 8. So then you get the round of 16, of course, and then the bottom 8 are eliminated. And then we go into a home and away fixture knockout phase style. So what this has brought up is, just to sort of recap, is if we remember Liverpool running away with it, they've played 6 straight wins. Liverpool are just the team.
They're already in. Yeah. They've already guaranteed they will not be eliminated.
They would have to have some. I was thinking about it. They'd have to have some crazy results go their way, but the chances are very, very unlikely. So Liverpool
not going to happen.
Good. Barcelona also sitting in second place with 5 wins and 1 loss on 15 points, pretty comfortable. Again, you'd expect Barcelona to
also have technically clinched their way in to at least advance somewhere.
They should be in there. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then, of
Correct.
course, you've got Arsenal, and then all on 13 points. You've got a big stack of basically from 3rd until 8th place, all on 13 points. Arsenal, Leverkusen, Aston Villa,
Yes.
Inter Milan, Brest. I haven't even thought about Brest for the last month, but my God, they are.
Nobody has. Nobody has. Outside of Brittany, nobody thinks about Brest.
They are. Brest, I feel like Brest, that is an exciting story that's turning up.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've got Lille as well, which is there in the top 8, right?
It's another surprise, right?
Yeah.
The fact that there are 2 French clubs in the top 8
not PSG
is
as well, and not PSG.
That's the coda, and that's the big coda surprise is, and neither of them are PSG.
Exactly.
So you go, wow, all right. To paraphrase, Bill and Ted, or Theodore. Was it Theodore Ted? I can't remember his last name, but anyway, strange things are afoot in the Champions League, Gary.
They are indeed. And then just going through, obviously, sort of the middle sort of knockout section, you've got Dortmund, all on sort of based on 12th place. Dortmund, Bayern, so you've got the 2 German teams. You've got Atletico and Milan, AC Milan on 12 points.
Yeah.
Atalanta and Juventus, which again, Juventus is sort of normally have good pedigree in this competition. So they're sitting pretty in that knockout phase. You'd expect them to go through. It depends who they draw, of course. Benfica, Monaco, Sporting Lisbon, Feyenoord, Club Brugge, as you would pronounce it from your
Brugge.
Brugge with your Flanders, or Bruges for us more Anglo-Saxons. Then you'd have Real Madrid. Now, Real Madrid on 9 points. There is sitting there with Celtic, also on 9 points. I would never have called that or predicted that. You'd expect Real Madrid, who have played 6, won 3, lost 3. So they've got a 50% strike rate in the Champions League, which is very uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
Celtic,
I mean, it's... Yeah, keep going. Keep reading.
You've got Celtic, Man City, PSV, and of course Dynamo. Dynamo. That's a Croatian. Is that Dynamo? That's a Croatian team.
Dynamo. Dinamo Zagreb. Basically,
Dinamo Zagreb,
that's there are. There.
So it's an interesting sort of setup, and then just to sort of, I won't sort of read through all the bottom ones, but basically you can see sort of on the bottom section you've got 3 teams with 0 points: Leipzig, Slovan, Young Boys. But then what's interesting in that bottom third is PSG, who are sitting on 7th.
Absolutely.
Points. They have played 6, obviously, like all of that 1, 2, drawn 1, lost 3. So there is, I get the feeling there is going to be some shock result here. There is going to be a big scalp here that will not even make it into the playoffs, is my suspicion here, because there's just no spots to go around.
I think the odds are very high on that, Gary. They are. And it may, some of it will depend on who they draw, and how they approach it. But no, there should, in all fairness, be a major, as you say, a scalp that is happening here. It is more than likely. The big question is, who will it be? And that is, who will it be?
Who will it be? Well, let's turn our attention then maybe and look through some of the fixtures as well, and sort of maybe we'll sort of be able to get a better sense in just looking through some of the results and so maybe some of the predictions. Yeah. I think first off, I think in the early kickoff you have AC Monaco against Aston Villa. That is essentially two teams. Villa obviously in the top section. I think a win for Villa will sort of pretty much guarantee them. Will just ensure automatic qualification.
Yes.
They're pretty comfortable going into the knockout phases, but that's not where they want to go. I think Monaco, just looking at the French leagues, I mean, if you look at their form, they're sitting in 4th place in the French league, which is the French league it's a little bit boring to watch the French league because PSG are just running away with it. They're clear by, it looks like 9 points. They haven't lost a game all season. So it does speak to the caliber, I feel, of Ligue 1 of the French league. That's, it's just a one team league and they just run away with it. But then the caliber, when they get really challenged in the Champions League, doesn't seem to be reflecting so well by the fact that they are all the way down there in 5th place. So I would probably put Villa at probably getting a result there, particularly as they've had a little bit of form picking up in the Premier League.
I would agree. The problem with Monaco is not in goal scoring. In fact, Monaco has actually scored more goals than Villa. Okay, so they have 3 more goals scored in competition than Villa does, but they concede too much. Their defense is too leaky, and so a team like Villa, who are very strong defensively, at least they have been in the Champions League, should be able to hold the fort and then counterstrike, right? And whether that counterstrike comes from Ollie Watkins or whether that counterstrike comes from super sub John Duran or it comes from their brand new signing Daniel Malen, right? This is the big question. Will Malen get a chance to play? I know some people might have been disappointed he didn't hit the pitch last weekend for Villa. It was too early. He hadn't had any time to train.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they signed him on the 14th. The game was on the 18th. There's no time for him to gel or mesh with anybody. And so, my prediction is that he does not touch the field here unless they're that much ahead and they put him on just to have some, some absorption and real life like training experience, so that he can begin to understand how some of the other players work. But nope, this should be a win for Villa, and they should lock him down.
Did they sign Malen from Borussia Dortmund? Is that right? Is that where he came from?
They did sign him from Borussia Dortmund.
So would he be cup tied though? So because isn't there a rule that you can't play for two Champions League teams in the same season? So would he be cup tied? I think that's the rules. So that's probably why.
Wow, that is a great question. I will need to research that.
Yeah, I think that might be the case. But yeah, so whether he'll go on there, that should be fair.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I'm not sure if that's the case. But let's pin that. We'll get back to it.
We'll get back to it.
Pin that. We'll get back to it. Yeah.
And then you've got the other game as well. The early game, Atalanta against Sturm. Who the hell are these guys? I've never even heard of
Sturm Graz. They're an Austrian team.
Austrian team, yeah.
And they have listen, I don't care how bad Atalanta's form has been the last 5 games, and it's been abysmal.
Yeah.
They're gonna basically just Sturm all over Graz.
They're going to Sturm all over Graz. Yeah, I mean, Atalanta doing pretty well, pretty over. I mean, they qualified because they won last season's Europa League, I believe, against Leverkusen. They sort of won, and then they're sitting third in Serie A, which is not bad at all for sort of a team that's not traditionally sort of known for dominating and sort of getting quite deep in there. But yeah, you think with Atalanta sitting in 13th place as well, yeah, you'd expect them because Sturm, 29th place, they've only got 3 points, only one game, lost 5.
Sturm is outclassed.
Yeah,
they're just outclassed, and it's so.
Yeah, you've got that, and then you've got Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen. Just for the record, Leverkusen for me are favorites. I think Xabi Alonso as a manager is fantastic. I think he's gonna really do it. Gonna take them far as well. So I would probably I would go for Leverkusen here, but I don't know if you have any alternative thoughts.
I'll be honest. I think this one's a toss up. I'll think this one is a toss up. And there's no denying it. This is one of the big games of the Tuesday fixtures, right?
Yes.
And it's huge because both teams are basically sitting in the middle of the pack, and the outcome of this game completely adjusts their trajectory of where they go. The winner has a very good likelihood of sitting inside the top 8.
Yeah. But
the loser's going to get stuck in that playoff pack. There's a lot to play for. That 2-game rest is massive.
That is, yeah. You don't
right. That's massive for any club that plays at this level. That's 180 minutes plus stoppage time plus travel plus this that you don't have to do. Priceless. So yeah, the people are going to want it, and I think it's a 50-50 match.
Yeah.
They are in Madrid. If they were in Leverkusen, I might give it to Bayer. I might give it to them. I think the home team will have a slight edge here. Team has a slight edge here.
Yeah, fair, interesting. Benfica Barcelona is also, that's going to be a good one as well. Again, Barcelona pretty much through as well, and sort of not sort of playing so well in the Spanish league, only in 3rd place in La Liga as well. So, and again, Benfica need to win that if they want to stay in that knockout phase as well. So they are.
I don't think Benfica's got a chance.
I would agree with you.
I think Barcelona's they're on a hot streak right now. Even though they did stumble at Getafe. Yeah, they did have a little stumble there in the league. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. They should be, even though they're going to Benfica, And there's a lot of just all the beef between Portuguese clubs, and Catalan clubs, Portuguese clubs, whatever. It doesn't make any difference. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
Not going to matter.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a steamroller from Barcelona, particularly as you say, the hot streak as well. Absolutely smashing Real Madrid the other week in the Spanish Copa final as well, and really confident in beating them. You've got Juve against Brugge, as we would say. Juve. This is an interesting one. They've not had good form. They've won half 3 of their games and drawn 2 and lost 1. And then if you go and look over at their form on the Serie A, again, Juve, I mean, they're sitting in 5th place as well, and they're sort of in the pack, but not traditionally dominant from Juve per se. So I don't know about that one. That could be, and playing away as well, that could be a score draw, I think.
Well, let me just say this. Club Brugge is on fire.
They are.
They are absolutely on fire. They're on fire domestically. They're on fire in the Champions League, right? They've overachieved already. Mm-hmm. I think for a club of their size. And they're at home.
Yeah.
So I would absolutely. I actually think it's a draw. Mm-hmm. I think this one's. I think of all the games that are going to happen, this one could end in a draw. I think there could be a lot of last minute drama. Mm-hmm. There are some interesting. I just think, listen, Juventus are one of those teams that you always think, you hear the name and you always think they're tip-top flight, and they don't always live up to that expectation. Yep. But they're always solid. And so, I don't know. I mean, if I was going to be going for upsets, I'd be looking at this as a potential upset match.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think fair. I think that could be a result. Speaking of upsets, you've got Svezda. That's the Old Red Star Belgrade. Is that right? How was my pronunciation on that? For against PSV. You've got Old Red Star Belgrade against PSV.
I'm just going with Red Star. I'm going with Red Star Belgrade, Gary. I'm not going to embarrass myself on the pod for this.
This is the Old Red Star Belgrade against PSV. You'd expect PSV, your beloved PSV.
No. Let's not. Please do not denigrate my name or my affiliations. I have no love for PSV. All right, none, zero love for them. Okay. Zero love for them. Okay.
No. Would even not representing on the Dutch side of things there, you wouldn't want the Dutch.
No. Listen, I'm looking at this purely from a soccer perspective, and PSV, they need this. They have struggled in this champion. They've struggled in this Champions League, and Belgrade aren't that good. So PSV need to bring it. They know they need to bring it. This is a must-win game, right? If they win, they're probably locked into the playoffs. If they lose, they're staring down the barrel of relegation. Belgrade's going to be tough at home, right? However, I believe Belgrade plays under a ban. They play under a spectator ban.
Spectator. Why is that? Just their fans get too rowdy and start throwing flares.
I'm digging into memory here. I don't have any proof. I'm not throwing shade, right? I'm not throwing shade on Belgrade. Ooh, look at that! I rhyme. But I do think that they play under. Under a stadium ban. So we don't know what's going to happen. But listen, PSV has everything to play for.
They do
everything.
Yeah.
Belgrade is almost effectively eliminated as it is, right? They're not in good shape. They're not in good shape.
They're down, and with no fans there as well, it will be cold as well there. But then again, PSV are used to sort of that kind of weather, so that should be fine. This is the one for me, which I'm curious about: Liverpool against Lille. Right? You've got Liverpool dominating, running away with it. You've got Lille, who are also sort of Lille kind of will want to win this and need to win this to stay in that automatic qualification spot. And
absolutely.
And so the question is if you're Arne Slot. Lille obviously have good form. They're sitting in 3rd place in the French league as well. If you're on his slot, do you sort of play the kids here and sort of rest some of the stars as well, just because, the fixture schedule is getting a little bit more congested? Or do you kind of lock this in, try and win this one, and then you're done, and then rest out the last game and just play the kids on the last match week?
Well, here's the question, Gary. Who are Liverpool playing next week? Look at that.
Oh God, you're gonna make me sort of dig into.
Put you on the spot here, because
I thought I was prepared and had some breath.
Well, yeah.
So who are they playing? Go on.
Well, I don't know. I was asking you.
Frantically checking my
yes.
Premier League app to see. Here it is. Wow, look at that. So if we do have next week, you've got Liverpool playing. Bournemouth away. So
no, not that. Look at the Champions League fixture.
Oh,
look at the Champions League fixture.
Oh, I see.
Right. So their Champions League. That's where it is. They're playing PSV in Eindhoven. So
okay.
If I'm slot, this is what I do. I play an A team.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I play an A team. I win this. I lock down your top spot. I lock down your top 8, and then you can roll into PSV, not having to worry about that outcome.
And the irony isn't PSV's Arne Slot's old club as well? Didn't he come from PSV?
No. He came from Feyenoord. Right? He came from Feyenoord. Yeah. So trust me, he wants to be PSV. There's even less love between PSV and Feyenoord, right? No. So yeah. I really got to say, I think he looks at this strategically. Lille would be that locks it down, that secures it, and then they don't have to worry about PSV.
Yeah,
right. I don't know whether they start. I don't know whether they start Salah. I don't know whether they start. They can start a team with Nunez and Jota and various and tremendous players while still keeping some in reserve, right?
Yeah.
It's not as simple as playing the kids because their kids are monsters, right? Yeah, their kids are tremendous. And so but I do think that Slot's playing to win. He's not playing this he's not looking at this as anything. He wants this one because this locks it in. This is done. Puts the stamp, puts the seal, moving on. Now we don't have to worry about it, right? Then the 2-game rest for Liverpool, huge.
Yeah, that's
moving on.
Take that.
Get it,
absolutely.
Get it, secure it, move on.
Lock it in. Liverpool, incidentally, just looking at them, I know we spent a lot of time talking about them and pining over them, but they're still on for all 4 competitions that they're in, right? Both cup competitions.
They are.
FA Cup and League Cup, Champions League. And obviously the league looks pretty sort of, I'm not going to say locked in just yet. It's too early to say, but they are looking very, very.
It's not locked, but they've got the edge.
Yeah. There's a couple of other sort of fixtures. Well, now this is the other one as well that I like the look of. Shakhtar against Brest. So Brest have not delivered in the league. They are.
Wait, that's on. Well, you've already jumped to Wednesday. Can we at least? I understand why. I understand why you skipped it, Gary. But
excited for it, yes.
Slovan Bratislava and Stuttgart. Sorry, no. Only one thing to say. Only Stuttgart has anything to play for. Slovan's already out. Yes, they're eliminated. Right? Yeah. They're playing for pride. They're playing at home. If they knock down Stuttgart, Stuttgart's going to probably be out. So I give this edge to Bratislava. They haven't done anything at all year, but they finally have a chance to make an impact and ruin Stuttgart's day. They're gonna try and take that opportunity.
You think that's possible? Yeah, I'd probably go with Stuttgart on that one. I think probably sort of just looking.
Oh no, I think statistically, intelligently, you go with Stuttgart. I'm going pure emotion, and I'm going to give the Slovaks a chance. I'm going to give the Slovaks a chance to make it happen. Yeah,
love it. Okay, I'm always supporting.
But now we can go to Brest. Now we can talk because I know how much you like to talk about Brest.
Well, there's actually one more game. Oh yes, now we can go there. So Brest, Shakhtar. So look, moving on. This is my favorite sort of underdog story here. Brest, who have just captured everyone's hearts and imaginations. Brest not delivering in the French league as we're getting to, sitting down there. I think it's in what are they, 9th place in French league, so they have not been translating that form.
Yeah.
But they have been sort of dominating and winning consistently. 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, sitting with 13 points in 6th place. I think Shakhtar, who obviously with all the atrocities and terrible stuff going on in the Ukraine, is not helping them, of course, and sort of sitting there. And that's so they have to go to Ukraine. I don't know. Do actually Shakhtar play?
No. They play in Germany.
They're playing in Germany now, just for
no. Shakhtar does not play. They don't play at home, but they've been playing. They've been playing in various German. They're playing this week at the Veltins, Gelsenkirchen.
Okay.
So so they play. They do get and I think there's enough I think there's enough groundswell support that they actually end up getting pretty good crowds. It won't be overwhelmingly Brest favor. I mean, because one, it's not that easy to get from Brest to Gelsenkirchen. I mean, it's a long ass drive, man. I'm sorry. So it's not as if Brest is going to flood that stadium and and drown them out with chanting.
That's true. That's true. But I would probably put a draw there or Brest. Again, I just don't think you can write them off as well. I think you think Brest or you think Shakhtar?
No, I think. Listen, you cannot look at Brest's league form as a representation of what it is that they're capable of, because when they've been playing these Champions League games, they have been showing up. This is their best. This is their easiest fixture, right? Mm-hmm. Because they play Real Madrid to close.
Wow.
So you better believe that with Brest, if they can win it, right? If they can win it, that keeps them in the top 8 right now.
Yeah, that keeps them in there. Yeah,
right.
And probably
so they're like, that win guarantees them at least a playoff. Mm-hmm. They've got everything in the world to play for. They will be giving it 100%.
Yeah, motivation is definitely there. Motivation is absolutely there.
Motivation's high. Motivation is so high. Yeah.
Okay, and then moving on, you've got Sparta Prague, who have just not delivered at all on 4 points against Inter, who are sort of sitting in the top 6, who was in 6th place as well. We go and look at second place in the Italian league as well. Are you think Inter would run over these guys, even though it is an away fixture?
Yeah. No, this is Inter's. It's Inter's, right? It's theirs to lose.
Yeah.
They're not gonna, and they're not going to drop the ball. They're not going to drop the ball.
That's fair. And then you've got Arsenal against Dynamo, and Arsenal, who have been promptly coasting. You'd expect Arsenal to run over Dynamo Zagreb. Zagreb as well, just teetering on the edge of that knockout phase as well. So they really need to deliver there. And again, Arsenal, if they lose, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I'd expect Arsenal to sort of take that one. Although Arsenal, again, they've been huffing and puffing in the league as well. I know we've been commenting on how it's amazing how they've been able to sit in sort of 3rd place at the moment in the Premier League, but they've losing strikers. We'll see what happens with the transfer window as well, and if they can bring anyone in. But yeah, you'd expect Arsenal to win there.
I gotta say, I think Arsenal couldn't have picked they couldn't have had a better draw for this, right? This is a bounce game for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They should absolutely be coming in and running circles around, and here's the other thing: they finish at Girona as well. Yeah. And I want to pronounce it Dutch style, like Girona, but no, Girona they have way underperformed. Mm-hmm. So they close out this whole Champions League qualifying round with 2, not gimme games, but with kind draws. So I expect Arsenal to have no trouble in keeping themselves inside the top 8. Yeah. No trouble at all.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Arsenal are pretty locked in and they should automatically qualify.
No, and they deserve it. They deserve it because they played well. It's a deserving place for them.
This is true. And then the interesting one, Celtic, Rod Stewart's beloved Celtic United, and also as well thanks to the wonderful article that you've recently published as well on Americans in the Champions League. You've got obviously that centre-back duo of Cameron Carter-Vickers, CCV, as he's
CCV,
known.
baby.
CCV,
yep.
And is it Austin? How do you say Austin Trusty? Is that that's
Trust? I just say Trusty and let it go.
Trusty and let it go. Yeah. So you've got this sort of that sort of American wall against central defensive wall against young boys who are stone last at the bottom as well. So you'd expect Celtic, particularly being at home. You'd expect Celtic to sort of lock in 3 points there and absolutely take away and sort of take those.
I mean, if they lose, heads will roll.
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me? No, they can't lose this. This young boys have a negative 19 goal differential.
That's.
I mean, what the hell, man? I mean. Besides that, they've got that fantastic, they got that great little dynamic Japanese striker, Kyogo Furuhashi. Happy birthday to him, by the way. Today is his birthday. I expect them to run rampant over young boys.
Agreed.
They're at home. They're going to have that fire, and young boys have absolutely nothing to play for.
They do. Yeah.
And not really much on their team either.
Yeah. and Celtics crowd as well. It's
Oh yeah,
Celtics stadium as well. It's a hostile environment. So I definitely agree with you.
The only risk on that game is that they don't strike early enough and they start getting down on themselves and the crowd starts getting hostile. It's the one thing that could happen. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see.
And then pushing through, and then the last 4 fixtures we've got to cover off as well. Feyenoord against Bayern. Now, this is a...
Feyenoord, yeah.
German sort of dominating as well. I mean, they're sort of the dominant team predominantly.
Sure. And they had a rough start. Right, they started with a win and 2 losses, but they've been on great form ever since. Their home form's fantastic. They're finally finding their groove, but they have to travel to Feyenoord, which is not the easiest stadium in the world to play in. But I think they should take it. They should win this one, but I think Feyenoord's going to be very tricky. I think they're going to be very tricky. They can be very stubborn. They can be very physical. And so we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see exactly how the whole thing turns out. This is one of my really beautifully spicy must-watch matches because I think it could be a real cracker.
You're going to be focusing on that one, right? And then you've got the Italian sort of two countries, two national teams facing each other, or sort of Italians facing each other. Milan against Girona, and Girona are all.
This is a done deal.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is
all Milan have to do is park the bus. They just have to literally drive the bus up into the parking lot, and they should win.
I'm getting my European teams. There's a correction there. Girona are not from France. From Italy. They're actually from Spain. So I got that wrong. Correction there. So yes, AC Milan against Girona.
No chance. No chance for Girona.
Yeah, and AC Milan. I mean, they're sort of sitting in 12th place as well. Their form is looking really good. I think they've been really hammering it out. And then also as well in the Italian league as well, I believe they're also sort of pretty good as well, right? AC Milan in 8th place with all those Americans that
this is all about the form of the visiting team, and Girona just haven't been able to put anything together. So no, this is as good of an easy pick as you can have. I think Milan runs away.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Now, this is the big one. I think for me, there's actually 2 big games here. PSG against Man City. This is the other one. This is the game. Yeah. The most important game for both teams. The winner goes to the playoffs. Loser, potential scalp. And it's as simple as that. If PSG loses, the likelihood of them being able to come out of it, pretty small. Yeah.
It's pretty small. PSG finishes against Stuttgart. Okay, fairly good, fairly easy draw for their final match. However, they got to play Stuttgart at home. And if Stuttgart are already eliminated, they're going to be so hell-bent to knock out PSG, right? Yeah. City, they play Brugge in Manchester.
Okay, yeah. And
I think City is they've begun to rediscover their ruthlessness.
They have. Yeah.
They have rediscovered that killer edge that they had lost for a brief period of time. I don't see City dropping points to PSG here. I don't see City dropping points to Brugge on Wednesday. I think they can get themselves in, but they're going to only go play. They're probably only going playoff.
Yep, I agree with that. Yep, I think they're in the playoffs. Yep.
I think they're going to go playoffs. I think they're going to make Pep cry because now he has to play 2 more fixtures, and it gives him something more to complain about. But look at me. I'm sympathetically crying with Pep right now. I think that's what happens, and I do think that it is a very good likelihood that PSG does not advance. It could happen. It could happen.
Be a shock there, and then even then they still need. And even if they do just sneak into the knockout phases as well, you don't know who they're going to get drawn into, and as well they're going to be big teams as well. So it's not going to be an easy buys there as well. So you are.
That's right.
I would agree with you. I think if Man City hadn't have picked up their form, I think, in 2025, they scored something like 25 goals or some large amount, particularly with that thrashing of Ipswich yesterday. I think I think Man City have rediscovered their form and they're back in business, so they're going to be okay. And then, and so I agree. I think Man City probably win that one, even at PSG, and then, PSG are in trouble.
Yeah, the one team right now, there are two teams that are sitting in very dangerous spots, and that's Brugge and Sporting. We haven't mentioned Sporting yet, but they're two teams sitting in very dangerous spots. Mm-hmm. They're in that 17th and 19th position. They're both sitting on 10 points. Their form will determine who gets in and out and knocked out, right? Yeah. Because if they pull some upsets in the next two games, they're going to keep themselves in. But whoever they're playing against and whoever they're collecting their points, it's going to be so close. It's going to come down to goal differential. Yeah. Right?
I agree. Yep.
And in that respect, PSG is doing good. They're better, right? They haven't scored a lot, but they haven't conceded a lot.
Yeah, this is true.
So for Man City, if you're gonna do it, Man City, you got to hit them. You got to hit them hard. You got to hit them for a lot of goals.
I agree. Yeah, and really humiliate them and wrap their face in. And that's
I know. I don't like to see Man City win anything. This one, I kind of feel I want them to win.
What was the unofficial term for that fixture, the PSG against Man City? Isn't it the Petro Cup? Isn't it? Because you got the two oil states that are both of them as well, right?
There's a lot of Petro Cups in the Champions League, Gary. There's a lot of Petro Cups, but yeah, this is definitely one of them.
This is the one. And then saving also as well. I'm not going to say the best for last, but definitely a spicy fixture: Real Madrid, Salzburg. Now, Real Madrid, who have obviously the most incredible pedigree in this competition, have won it 16 times. They are, they just have a sort of affinity and a love affair with this competition and seem to just always get through and win it, and are the current holding champions. They've managed to sort of recover a little bit of form, but again, played 6, won 6, lost 3. They are, I think Salzburg, who are obviously...
They're not losing to Salzburg.
They're not losing to Salzburg.
They're just not going to lose to Salzburg. Yeah. Salzburg has conceded 18 goals. 18 goals.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And Real Madrid. Salzburg are not going to go there and go.
Yeah. Last I checked, Real have some players that can put it in the net. Mm-hmm. All they need is one of their 4 superstars to put some balls in the net, and they're going to be good. I think it's a good chance at least one of those 4 is going to be game.
Yeah, I think so. And then as you say, and then
it's the kindest fixture they could have had.
It is.
It's super generous to them.
And just looking at them on 9 points, if they go and get those 3 points, so that will bring them up to 12. Potentially, you'd expect them to have that. That puts them in sort of like the top middle part of the knockout phases. Yep. And then, of course, and then they go and play against Brest, as we discussed. And again, that will be an interesting one to see what happens there. So there's a chance that Real Madrid and Ancelotti can actually just sort of, just creep through in the last 2 game weeks and sort of.
I think they'll creep through, but they're going to have to. They're going to earn 2 more games as a result of not being clinical enough. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think they make it in the top 8. No way.
They need fixtures to go in their favor. Okay. So
and then the only other one that we didn't mention is Leipzig versus Sporting.
Did I not? Oh,
and again,
I missed that one. Okay,
that's okay. No, it doesn't matter because it's Leipzig. Leipzig has been just absolutely they've been invisible. They're not even there.
Yeah. Jurgen Klopp in 20 days into his new role as head of football.
Well, none of the Red Bull teams have done good. They're sitting at 31st, right? They're sitting at 32nd and 34th.
32nd. Leipzig and Salzburg. Yeah.
They're miserable. So no, and so Sporting I think should get that. Sporting should get those points, which is good. Oh Lord Almighty, and they finish at Bologna. Finish against Bologna. It's another one that you're just like, okay.
It's an easy 3 points in a way, and they'll get them knocked out. So it's going to be interesting. So just sort of now, just out of your curiosity, calling. It's hard to predict, obviously, because there's the knockout phases, and we don't know who's going to play against each other. But it sounds like we're both of the opinion that PSG don't even make it to the playoffs. Would you?
No, I'd say there's a very, very strong likelihood that PSG gets eliminated. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't disagree.
That would be if I was going to look at everybody's where they are right now, and some of the upcoming fixtures and various other things. I'd say that's the biggest the biggest risk is PSG, right? They are the ones that have the greatest chance to stumble. Mm-hmm. I think PSV could also be eliminated. I think they have a likelihood. They've got some tough fixtures coming up. So the most difficult one being against Liverpool. That's that last fixture. It takes on significant resonance. They may be able to pull it off because Liverpool might not take that one as seriously. But when does Liverpool ever take anything not seriously? Yeah. So I think PSV, and I put them in the level of big clubs, right? And so they're so I think they're the other one. Celtic, there's a risk. Yeah. But I think Real, Man City, I think they do just enough to keep it safe. And I don't see Juve dropping anything. I don't see AC Milan dropping anything. I think they're all good. So yeah, really, that's in order. PSG, PSV, Celtic are my three risks. Yeah, to go down.
Yeah, that's fair. I think, and what's interesting as well, if you just look at sort of the form guide of the last 5 games as well, it's right. It's I don't see anyone in that bottom 8 that are going to, or sorry, the bottom. Yeah, is it 8? Yeah, 4. 8.
Yeah, I don't see any real. I don't see real upset candidates, right? Like in other words, this isn't a team that you're gonna. But you never know. That's the best part.
Is the beauty of it, right?
You never know.
You never know, right? And so, while I'm looking forward to this game week, and as I say, the games I'm going to definitely be watching will be absolutely that. Absolutely, definitely be watching the PSG, the Petro Cup, or the PSG game. I think that's going to
gotta watch the Petro Cup.
I agree. Yeah. Definitely watching the Petro Cup. Definitely, I want to see Brest. As I said, I really want to see Brest win, and so I expect them to go through against Shakhtar. And then, of course, as well, you'd expect also as well. Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen will be the games I'll be watching for sure. They're definitely sort of having those on as the priority watch, and then catching up on the goals.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Super. Well, exciting stuff. And then, of course, it goes into, as I say, super game week round of 8, game week 8. And as I said, that's going to be the only thing that I'm not looking forward to is having to put up with Nico Cantar for a whole 3 hours. As much as I love the Galazo show, Nico Cantar, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Nico Cantar, I have to say, but I'll be looking forward to that.
You can always watch on mute.
I could watch on mute as well. Or I could watch it in Spanish. I could watch it on TUDN and watch it in Spanish as well, right? That's another way. So yes,
can't do that. There's a lot of enthusiasm in that Spanish broadcasting. Yes,
there is. Yes, indeed. Super.
Yeah.
Well, on that, Qooligan, as always, exciting stuff. We've got the Chelsea game later on this afternoon, which I'm looking forward to, and then of course we've got Champions League games. It's back in business. It's suddenly, wow! This is an extension of the Crucible. It never used to be this exciting as well. So this new format, it's really got good. Super.
Indeed.
Wonderful.
All right.
As always, till next time. Thank you.
Signing off.